Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Athirah.
And my name is Nurazidah. Today we will present about the estuarine ecosystem in Malaysia.
An estuary is the partially enclosed body of water that is formed when fresh water from land meet and mix with salt water from the ocean. Estuaries can also be recognized as bays, lagoon, harbors, sounds, inlets, swamps, and wetlands. Coastal plain estuary, it looked like valleys with gentle sloping bottom and their depth increased towards the river's mouth. Palbil estuary are formed when sandbars building up along the coastline and they partially cut off the waters behind them. Chord estuary are narrow and steep and usually straight and long, which found in areas that have been covered by glaciers. Tectonic estuaries are created when the sea fills in a hole or basin that is formed from sinking land. Estuaries are filled with brackish water due to the mixing of salt water and fresh water. In addition, soil around estuaries are rich in nutrients, for example, phosphorus and natrium, and it is controlled by sources, including input from land, plant biomass, and tidal flow. Moreover, freshwater input also contribute to the rich concentration of nutrient. This created an estuary's nutrient cycle to balance the input of nutrient, also to avoid undesirable events such as eutrophication. Estuaries enclose diverse range of habitats, including marshes, seagrass bed, rocky reef, mangrove, and many more. These habitats of mangrove provide home for many organisms such as fishes, shellfishes, seabirds, mealworms, reptiles, and many more. Estuaries are important and protected by many due to its economical, cultural, and most importantly, ecological value. Estuaries act as nurseries of the ocean. It provides nutrients for phytoplankton and seagrasses, which hold a role as a producer that will sustain the ocean food chain. It also saves environment for fish to lay eggs, birds to raise their child, and other wildlife to protect their juveniles. Apart from that, estuaries work as a filter between land and the ocean. It maintains water quality through breakdown of organic matter by microbe and by pollutants by sediment. Moreover, mangrove, seagrasses, and reeds act as natural buffer to absorb floodwater from the land and also absorb the storm by the ocean. In addition, it catch ocean dam and land dams from entering each side. Estuary's uniqueness and also its beautiful scenery have become an attraction for many tourists. It also provides transportation and industrial resources, for example, for fisheries, agriculture, and commercial sources. Estuaries also provide recreational spot for humans to do activities such as bird watching and also surfing. It also become a spot for water sports and others. For educational purpose, it provide information for research and scientific knowledge, and also provide knowledge for sustainability for future generation. And lastly, it also hold traditional practices significant. For example, Maori race utilize the estuaries as a whole and enjoy the aesthetic tradition of the estuary. One of the main threats of estuaries is human-made pollutant. Over discharge of this pollutant, for example, rubbish dumping or runoff of nutrient, industrial and residential waste could alter the balance cycle of estuaries composition. Next, forest clearance and urbanization has caused increase of runoff into the estuaries and may also cause soil erosion around the estuaries. Agriculture and industrial threat. These two sectors produce fertilizer runoff, heavy metal, petroleum byproduct, and also persistent pesticide, which will disturb natural decomposition process in the estuaries and later resulting in low concentration of oxygen, and this will harm the health of ecosystem and also the health of organism itself.
As we know, estuary is an area that can filter out sediment and pollutant from river and stream before they flow into the ocean. It provides cleaner water for human and marine life. However, land activity such as agricultural activity can affect the quality of water and also the organism that live in that estuary area. For example, as we can see the graph on the slide, agriculture activity takes about 32% of land activity near Kuantan River. If there is a rainstorm occur, the river or the stream can flow through an agriculture area nearby and picks up the fertilizer, pesticide, nutrient or other land runoff that exists due to farming operation and affect the water quality of the estuary. As I mentioned before, it also can give adverse impact for the fishery productivities. Firstly, it is because estuary is known as the perfect spot for many species of fish to live and breed due to the surrounding of the estuary that rich in food and nutrient. Some of the fish species depend on estuary during the early part of their life because as the phenomenon tide that rise and fall, the estuary can capture the nutrient and food particle and act as the feeding area for the juvenile. There are also many hiding spots for the juvenile to hide from the predator. However, if the water quality in the estuary area is low, it can reduce the chances for the juvenile to survive until adult age. Therefore, it can give adverse impact to the fisheries productivity. Secondly, nitrates and phosphate are an important nutrient that is needed for plant to grow. This nutrient can be found from the fertilizer at the agriculture area. The small amount of nitrate and phosphate are beneficial for ecosystem. However, if there is an excessive amount of this nutrient from the agriculture area, it can trigger a type of pollution called eutrophication. Eutrophication stimulates excessive growth of algae that rapidly reduce the oxygen level of water when the algae die or decomposed by bacteria. It will cause the BOD level in the estuarine water increase. It can make an anoxic condition that can kill the fish. More worrying situation, the excessive nutrient can trigger toxic algal bloom that can release toxin and cause the disease to the fish and shellfish in the estuary water. Therefore, it can adversely affect commercial fisheries.